We met at a rather bohemian party for a poet called Milton Acorn, to whom the other poets were awarding the People's Poetry Prize. And it was in Grossman's Tavern on Spadina Avenue.
It's still there, I think. Yeah.
And you guys fell in love?
Well, no. It was very interesting. I'm a writer and I'm a conservationist. Been involved in the Writers' Union of Canada and the Writers' Trust. Been a member of the board of World Wildlife Fund Canada, chair of the board of the Pelee Island Bird Observatory, and both of us are honorary presidents of BirdLife International's Rare Bird Club.
And that is what these little pins are. See, we have matching pins.
Yes.
Togetherness,
pin togetherness.
Yes, I also am a writer, and I probably would be much of an activist if it weren't for Graeme. But I also am co-honorary president of the Rare Bird Club of BirdLife International, and I also have been the chairman of the Writers' Union of Canada and the head of PEN Canada, and right now I'm an international vice president of PEN, and I have a large Twitter following.
Both of us had first novels. And they'd both been shortlisted for the Governor General's Award. We were at this party, and I'm not even quite sure why I was there. This short woman came up to me.
Because there were drinks.
Because there were drinks. I was there because there were free drinks. That's what it was. You're quite right. And this short woman came up to me and said that she thought somebody else won it. Neither one of us did. And this short woman came up to me and said she thought I should have won the Governor General's Award. And it wasn't until about an hour later I discovered that it was Margaret who was the, and I thought that was the most impressive pickup line I'd ever heard.
Well, it wasn't. It was actually true. But there you are. So that's how we met, but then time passed, and then Graeme was once a photographer. And he was going to take my picture for the back cover of a book of poetry that I was doing with the just formed House of Nancy Press.
That's right, and that I was doing, and I photographed Margaret for her book. And there's a funny thing that happens if you're looking through a camera a lot. I was overcome by her in taking the photographs.
I think these things are occasions in which people of a certain generation get wheeled on to give some cheering words to graduating classes. I think that's what they're for. And it's particularly meaningful for Graeme because he taught here.
But I love people who come and don't give cheery words. Kurt Vonnegut went to a graduating university, and he said to them, he got up and stood and said, everything is going to become unimaginably worse and will never get better again. And then he went and sat down. I'm delighted because, as Margaret said, I taught at Ryerson for most of the 60s, first full-time and then part-time. And it was a really very, very different place then. Teaching literature was sort of like doing missionary work. I mean, I think most people who came into Ryerson at that point thought that they were finished with that. They were in good practical courses, and they were bright and interesting people. But then suddenly, for 3 years, all 3 years, they had to take literature. And part of it was Canadian literature. Ryerson was one of the few places that taught Canadian literature back in the 50s and 60s.
Well, let's pretend that we're in favor of democracy. So, for me, the value of let's call it a liberal education, and this is quite apart from job skills and getting all those things I said before, it teaches you critical thinking. And the best result is that you develop a finely tuned bullshit meter, so that you can look at some political utterance, or indeed some advertisement, and you can say, well, actually, I'm not buying this.
It's rubbish.
I'm not buying any of this, and what they're really saying, and what's really behind this. So it teaches you to look at those kinds of things, and hope that you're not getting sold, a gold-plated brick of some sort. Do your taxes. So if you don't,
or else get out of town.
they're going to kill you.